Hello friends, it is I, not Maria, and welcome to, I guess like a DIY video, a bit of a how-to video on how I made some really fun and like interactive maps for my D&D encounter. Now, for those of you that have seen some of my other D&D videos, I am currently running Horde of the Dragon Queen. Major spoilers because I will be talking about that like beginning part of the campaign. If you're a player and you're in that campaign, then like don't listen. Go on ahead to somewhere else. But this is a part where they're heading into that dragon hatchery, like that cave after like following the dragon cult out of Greenest. And what I did was kind of silly. This is before we got the printer working. So I literally like got my mat and I one for one drew on the lines and then just like counted everything block by block. This took me literally like a week to do. Would I do it again? Yes. In fact, I quite enjoyed doing this. I thought it really like brought the like encounter to life in a way that it just made me feel really good about it. So, but like now that I've got the printer working, honestly, I would just print this instead of having to like do it all by hand because my lines were kind of wonky and in a lot of places they didn't like actually like super line up. So we're just going to ignore that. For a lot of these pieces, I had to kind of divide them up. So like I added this big rectangular section and then I just, looking back and forth between the book and my paper, kind of being able to cut everything out. Like I said, it did take me a while and I think that the end result was really good. I guess technically you don't have to be super meticulous about the lines that you're gonna do, but like it's really helpful just because it gets you on par with what the book says. And I guess technically you don't have to be like you don't have to use the maps that they use. It's just really helpful. It got me a lot of variety in what I was able to use. And because some of these pieces were folded and like they got together more like a puzzle than like say a framed painting, if you will, what I ended up doing was during the encounter, during the session, I would just add and remove the maps that I used. So like I put my mat, I have a fancy mat, which you don't see on here, but I have one of those mats that's, I don't know, made out of like a thick fabric material or whatever. And so I used the side that has the hex, the hex side, and I would take off and put on each of the different pieces instead of having to like sprawl the entire map across everything. So it kind of got the ranger something to do with his ranger mental map. And it kind of got some of the other characters like making sure that they got their map right and whatnot. I think it'd be really fun to do something like this with a moving dungeon, especially because what I did on the back of all these is I actually numbered them. And I numbered them to be able to coincide with what is said on like the encounter book section, just because it made it a lot easier when I was pulling it out of my little box to be able to like pull out the right piece and then also just like remove that piece like entirely and also like have it really organized. I don't know, I thought that this was really fun. I added like these columns. That was kind of like the first thing that I drew together because then the rest of this is really just decorating. And I used a lot of the scrap little tiny itty bitty pieces of cardstock. And I used a little bit of fabric that I had just lying around, and of course a ton of different markers. Most of these I got from Walmart, so like it's not super, I mean it was time consuming, but like it's not like it was super expensive. But at the same time, because it was so time consuming, I feel like you should pay yourself for your time. But that's neither here nor there. For all of these pieces, I did do like a nice little outline for all of them. And I tried to use, you can't really see it, but I used like a combination of brown and gray to show off that we're in like a cave system, And for a lot of the places, I really tried to bring it alive with some of the coloring. You can't really see it in this clip as much, but there are some areas that have like lighting that I painted on myself, because lanterns, I can't quite remember what the actual like mechanics of them are, but like lanterns I think have like a 15-foot radius for like bright light and like 30-foot for dim light, if I remember correctly. So I tried to keep that. And like, okay, yeah, do my characters or my players have dark vision? Yeah, they do. But like, there's only a couple of rooms in the entire encounter that actually have lanterns. So like, including that really, like, I don't know, it added to the vibes, you know? It just made it even that more, hey, this is important. There's probably something in this room. So yeah, I don't know. Honestly, making the meat room was probably my favorite, because I got to make like all these different, like, I didn't make them squares. I like painted these 2 squares on the back of some extra cardstock, and then I just I cut out and drew random meat shapes, which yeah, no, it, like I said, this is a lot of fun. I did this very early in the campaign and I'm just now getting around to it. But I actually ended up doing something very similar with a boat encounter that we did. And I'm going to be doing it again when we reach the encounter in like chapter, I believe it's 6 or 7. I don't have the book right in front of me, but it's like where they're at that like cultist hangout place or whatever, or like the crossroads place nearing, like, getting near Neverwinter. So I think that'll be really fun. Like I said, it really like brings everything together, because especially with like the boat that I show off here in a bit. I don't like show the process of it, but like I do show some action shots, if you will. But the boat especially was really nice, because it meant that we could all like look at the boat together and be able to say, okay, here's level 1, here's level 2, here's level 3. Here's like where these things are. And because we were kind of having like a bit of a party, like in game, in the realm, if you will, it just made things a lot clearer. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you would do this, if you would be down to spend the week drawing this, or if you even think that this is, you know, a great or a terrible idea, or if you've tried something similar. And you know, consider subscribing and coming back to see some more D&D content. See you on the next one. Bye!